I'm Craig Huey, and there are a number of people in here who are involved with John Finn in politics, and a number of people in here who are involved with John Finn in business. So I'd like to share a few memories of John and some guiding principles. I'd like to, in fact, tell about 7 guiding principles about John Finn. And I do this because John had a profound impact on my lives of many here, and thousands of people throughout the world that you never met. I first met John when I was in high school and college. I saw him at political rallies. I saw him at conferences. I saw that he was West Coast director for a group called Young Americans for Freedom. And I was in that group. And being in that group, I got to know him a little bit. And I was intrigued because he was producing little mini books. They were sending out by the thousands. And I read these books and underlined these books on economics, politics. And who is this John Finn? I was wondering. And when I was in college, I saw John at a meeting, and he asked if I would work part-time. And so I started working part-time. And with doing that, I saw a man who was promoting freedom in a dramatic way. He was affecting people in how they thought, how they voted, and he was promoting the cause of freedom. He really believed that we were created, that only we were created people, that we are endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights, and he believed in those individual rights. And so the first guiding principle that I learned from John, I saw in action, is that he learned the principle of mixing his beliefs with making a living, and being able to have fun doing what he was doing by helping change the course of this nation, change people's lives, and being able to survive financially doing so. You know, I learned that from John, and for the last 35 years, I've been able to do the same thing, promoting politics that I like, promoting the cause of Christ, and being able to make a living doing so. John had me work on a variety of projects. He introduced me to something called direct marketing, and I found myself working with him where he asked that I work with him full time. And I had to take a year off of college, and that man taught me so much. One of the first things I got involved in was a direct mail campaign to every voter in New Hampshire. And I saw John get the money for that, do all the things necessary to make that campaign work. He helped me work on direct response radio commercials for Ronald Reagan, direct response TV commercials. One of the campaigns was for national defense. And we created a commercial, ran it nationwide. People would ask for information. We produced this pamphlet, we sent it out, and it was an amazing thing. And my parents weren't too happy that I was taking a year off. I learned about direct marketing, and I learned that he brought me to direct marketing associations, gave me books to read, magazines to read. He introduced me to the top people. He taught me how to operate as a business person. One of the things about John he taught me was to make piles of paper. Everywhere piles of paper. I think Lydia back here knows what I'm talking about. That gave me the second guiding principle, having a passion for his principles and beliefs. John never compromised. He always had a passion for doing good, right, and just. And he just was a man of principle. I remember one time I went down with him. He would take me on these meetings, and like James said, he would be fearless of who he would go see and present a proposal to. And he went down, and we went to this hotel off the 405 freeway. And in there was a guy named Lynn Nelson, and turned it into kind of an office in this hotel room. We sat down, and Lynn pulls out this bottle from the drawer, starts drinking at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that offers us a drink. I said, no. And John said, no. And we sat there, and John had a proposal. And he looked at John and said, are you dealing, or have ever dealt, would you deal with people on 16th or Pennsylvania Avenue? John looked at him and instantly said, never, I would never do such a thing. Because he would not compromise. And you saw the anti-abortion materials and position. Even before Roe versus Wade, he was in the fight when nobody else was. The third guiding principle was entrepreneurship. What entrepreneur John was. At the end of the 1972 political campaign, he looked at me and said, Craig, you're on your own now. Election's over. You can get a job somewhere else, go back to school, or you can work for me, but you have to pay your own bills, your own rent, your own telephone. You're going to be on your own. And I saw this man who was a true entrepreneur. And back in 1972, I accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. It was so important that I make the right decision. And as I was going back to school, got my degree, got my teaching credential, instead of going to teaching, I decided to go and work with John and be able to make the business work. John was a great example for so many people an entrepreneur, which gives the fourth guiding principle, giving people a chance and opportunity to succeed. Many here, John gave us a chance to succeed. Many people all over the United States, he gave a chance to succeed and have success. It was a real gift. And what happened was I was out of college, and he had taught me all these principles, and he had a company called Infoman. And with Infoman, I said, I need to have a company. So I went to John, and sure, I don't know if you remember this. I went to John and had a suitcase, briefcase, I think it was like this. I filled it with $1 bills. Probably less than $1,500 or $2,000, I don't know. And I opened it up, I showed it to John, and I said, I want to buy your company. And he just kind of shook his head and had the biggest smile, the John Finn smile. And for an agonizing weekend, he wouldn't tell me. And Monday, he told me, you've got the company. He signed it over, and for 35 years, God has blessed company and what I've been doing with it. And the fifth guiding principle was John was the most positive guy, even in distress, even in trouble, but he was always looking at the positive side of things, never letting something get him down, always believing that he could do it. And the sixth guiding principle was he really cared about individuals. He helped me learn how to do that. And he really had a passion for caring about them. And then the seventh guiding principle is to look to help others. He was always looking to try to find out how he could help. And he was always ready to give ideas, advice, suggestions. One of the principles he taught me that I've carried on, he would find an article, he would find something in some type of material, and send it off to everybody he thought it would be appropriate to. He was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like texting before there was a computer. It was like he would just send out this material for people to learn. John had a profound impact on my life. He had a profound impact on others. His influence in helping shape ideas for freedom was extensive. His work to save babies was the spark that inspired hundreds of organizations and individuals and helped save lives. I thank God that He put John Finn in my life. And, JT looked at the cross. Well, John believed in God, believed in Jesus Christ, believed in the cross. He believed that Jesus is not on that cross, that He rose from the dead. He's on the right hand of the throne of God. And that's one thing I know that John did. The second thing is, in the casket there's life, but John's not there. His spirit is with the Lord. I believe John is now seeing the thousands of lives he's impacted, especially on abortion, and people he never knew. Sherry was a very special cousin, and very special dad, very special grandfather.